Hello students, today's poem is Death Be Not Proud, which is a holy sonnet written by Donne, who was born in 1572 and died in 1631. This is Divya Kumari Meena, Assistant Professor, Government Girls College, Sikandra. So let us discuss the poem Death Be Not Proud, written by Donne. This is a holy sonnet. Sonnet is a short poem of 14 lines. In this sonnet, the poet Donne mocks at death. He ridicules the death as death is regarded as too much mighty and fearful. But he mocks at death by saying that death is less powerful than sleep. Sleep is more peaceful and give rest and happiness to people, but death has nothing. He is powerless, as death itself dies. Death is not able to die people, as it is powerless. It itself dies, as the soul changes only body after death. As a person sleeps and he take rest, and when he wakes up, in the same way when a person dies, and after some time when his soul deliver into another body, and again he become alive. So the poet here says that man does not die, it is death which itself dies. So it is a highly metaphysical poet where the writer mocks at death. So I'm going to recite the poem first. I'm going to recite the first stanza of the sonnet, That Be Not Proud. So therefore the title is very suggested when he addresses to death and says that you should not be proudful, as there is nothing to show proud. That be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. For those whom thou thinkest thou dost overthrow, die not, poor death, nor yet canst thou kill me. That be not proud. The poet here says that there is an apostrophe that the poet directly addresses to death and says that death, you should not be proudful, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful. Though there are some people who call death as mighty means powerful and dreadful means fearful. Some people call thee very powerful and fearful and horrible, but you are not so. You don't have these qualities. For thou art not so. You are not like this. You are not mighty, dreadful, fearful, horrible, and powerful. You are nothing. From those whom thou thinkest, thou dost overthrow. The people regards you mighty and dreadful because you have taken away some people with you, as death has died. Many people die not, but those people don't die. Poor death. Here the poet calls death poor. as it is helpless. Nor yet canst thou kill me. The poor is called, death is called poor because he is not able to kill even the poet. From rest and sleep, this is the second stanza of the sonnet. From rest and sleep, which but thy pictures be, much pleasure than from thee much more must flow. And soonest our best men with thee do go, rest of their bones and souls delivery. Here the poet compares death with the sleep, as when we sleep we feel rest and after some time we again wake up. So in the same way, when a people dies, his body completely takes or undergoes through the rest. So he says that from rest and sleep, which but thy pictures be. Rest and sleep is the picture of death. So as one dies, he feels rest and he feels as if he has slept. Much pleasure. But he says that while a person sleeps, he feels much more pleasure than that you give to a person. Then from thee much more must flow. The pleasure which is given by death is less than the pleasure which is given by sleep. So he says that neither the death is neither mighty and dreadful, nor it is pleasurable. And soonest our best men with thee do go. As soon as the best men, here refers to the soldiers who die while doing the great work, and when they go with the death, when they die, rest of their bones, they die only to take rest. They die only to give rest to their body and soul's delivery, and after some time their soul delivers into another body. So death is nothing but it is a source of changing body. One soul's deliver into another body. So he says that you should not be proudful. Now I am going to recite the third stanza. Thou art slave to faith, chance, kings, and desperate men, and thus with poison, war, and sickness dwell. And poppy and charms can make us slip as well, and better than thy stroke. Why shewest thou then? Thou art slave to fate, chance, kings, and desperate men. Here the poet calls death a slave. Death does not have any type of power, ability of doing anything, as it is slave. It does the work under the order of chance or fate. It is slave of fate, as somebody's fate decides, its destiny decides when he will die. Death is only a slave of destiny and chance. Many people dies by chance, so it is only a slave of chance. And kings, as many kings orders to kill someone, so it is again the slave of kings. And desperate men are those who don't have the power to face the difficulties of life and decide to kill themselves or suicide. So the death is also the slave of those desperate men who decides to kill themselves. So here the poet mocks at death by calling it a slave of fate, chance, kings, and desperate men. And dust with poison, war, and sickness dwell, you lives in. The poison or in a war or in sickness. As death does not has any identity, it does not have any body, it does not have any shape. So it lives in the poison, in war, or in any illness. Through these mediums, death comes. Death does not have any kind of appearance. And poppy and charms can make us sleep as well. So here the poet compares death with the poppy. Poppy are the seeds which makes a man intoxicated and they feel like sleeping. And charms, so the poet compares death as a slip which is excited by the poppy seeds or the charms. So he says that poppy and better than thy stroke, that the slip which is caused by the poppies and the charms is much more better than the slip given by the death. Why swellest thou then? Then why do you feel that you are much more better than the slip? This is the last lines of the poem. One should slip past, we wake eternally, and death shall be no more. Death, thou shalt die. Here again, the poet John Donne shows his metaphysical qualities when he says that one short slip past. He says that death is nothing more than a short slip. It is a slip of a very uh, uh, it is a slip for a very short period of time. So when a person dies, he slips only for a very short period. We wake eternally, and after that slip, we wake up, and we wake up for a long time. As when a person dies, but in every mythology, it is believed that only the body dies, soul never dies. So he says that it is a short slip, and after that slip, the soul changes body and again wake up into another body, and death shall be no more. And as the soul enters into another body and wakes up, so he says that where is death? It is nowhere. It is it is less powerful than a slip. So he says, death, thou shalt die. It is not a body, it is not a person who dies through death. It is death who itself dies. So it is a highly metaphysical poet where the poet directly challenges to death, which is regarded very powerful and mighty, but he says through his ideas that death is nothing and less powerful, and it is less powerful a than the effect of sleep. So in the last line he says that death, you are nothing, nobody dies, it is death which itself dies.